Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be talking about the contemporary artist Edward Ruscha. Edward Ruscha was born in the year 1937 in Omaha, Nebraska, and first gained popularity in the late 1950s when people started noticing that his art interlaced depictions of everyday materials into his paintings, which is something that not a lot of people were doing during this time period. And his influence helped shape the concept of conceptual contemporary art that we know today. The first art that Edward ever sold was called Box Smashed Flat, and it is essentially a picture of a smashed raisin box. But when we look at it, it gives us this 3D effect that intrigued a lot of people. And according to Dr. Ken Allen, who has a PhD in sociology and currently teaches at the University of California, what Ruscha was doing here was he was acknowledging how 3D art like sculptures were becoming more prominent in the art world. And so Ruscha wanted to combine the concept of sculptures and paintings and combine them into one piece of art, which is how he came up with this 3D looking sculpture. When we continue to look at Ruscha's art, we see that oftentimes it's characterized with a deadpan quality that leaves a lot of indifference and interpretation up to the viewer. I definitely see that when I look at Standard Station and Music from the Balconies. And when we continue to dig a little deeper, we see that in Ruscha's paintings, he often explores themes of space, place, and criticizes the concept of the American dream. And I say that he criticizes the concept of the American dream because often his paintings depict this sense of loneliness and alienation, and they really seem to call in the question of the promise of happiness that comes with the American dream. I see that especially when I look at the Standard Station here. And to me, what I see is this kind of like solidarity and vast desert almost. And it kind of gives me this little disconnect between the real world and the idolized imagery of the American dream. And it just shows how harsh real life can be. But not everybody's going to look at that and think that way. That's what I think. But other people aren't going to look at it and think that. And another thing I find super interesting about Ruscha's art is that he always finds a way to successfully blend elements of conceptualism, pop art, and minimalism to create the art that he creates. And it's very striking and it catches the eye, but it's also very minimalist. And I see that when I look at Music from the Balconies. There's not a lot to this painting. It's got a beautiful background, but it's more so the messages behind the art that he's conveying and that he's getting at here. So yeah, that is my analysis and my introduction to Edward Ruscha.